Hi, my name is Sheri Bailey, and I'm a playwright. And my genius is I know how to connect the past to the present. And my focus is American slavery. My dream is to see America healed from the legacy and the wounds of slavery without shame or blame. I'll give you a little history and context about how I do this work. In August of 1619, you had a group of Africans by way of Angola who arrived on the shores of Hampton, Virginia, on their way to Jamestown as indentured servants who worked their contracts and earned their freedom. These free blacks should be regarded as the ancestors to the black middle class, and that gives you a window into how the work is done. I'm reframing American history with the truth. Those free blacks should be regarded as the black ancestors to the black middle class. And when we're talking about black folks and the middle class in the 17th century, that's something new. 242 years later, the descendants of those free blacks and enslaved were the ones who were the first to gain their freedom from legalized slavery. And the way that this happened is in May of 1861, you had three men, Frank Baker, James Townsend, and Shepherd Mallory, who escaped from their owner in Norfolk and made their way to the Union camp at Fort Monroe, where they demanded their freedom. When their owner arrived to reclaim his property, he was denied that return under a federal policy known as contraband of war, which meant that confiscation of enemy property was allowed. Instead of being returned to their owner, the men were put on the federal payroll, which essentially put them on the path to citizenship. And this was happening 2.5 years before the Emancipation Proclamation. So here at Fort Monroe, the same geographical location, we have these two major events in American history that happened there. The 1619 arrival of those first Africans on their way to Jamestown, and then the 1861 contraband of war story, which meant that freedom started for African Americans at that point, happening at Fort Monroe, which I believe marks Fort Monroe as a sacred place. And it should be put into service as a venue for conversations about race and the discussion of how to develop anti-racism policy. In 2019, that will be the 400th anniversary of when those first Africans arrived. And if you are interested in being a part of the infrastructure that is going to help shape the telling of this narrative, then we hope that you will join us here where genius is common.